doing this.
Hi, everybody. Here we are at the Common Book Show. I am Paula, and I'm here with Richard and Jill and
Hello.
James. And Lisa is our international guest from Leeds in England. Of course, we also have Paul, who is a regular, and he is from Nova Scotia. And of course,
Not from Nova Scotia.
oh, not Nova. I'm sorry, Newfoundland.
Thank you.
It's an N word. I'm getting confused.
Yes.
That's why I tried.
Don't use the N word.
And Virginia is
Newfie?
here, and Joe, it's his first time, and Mike's first time. So we've got a full house, and I want to start this first of all with.
Did you do James?
Oh, I said James. Didn't I say
did.
James?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. All right.
James.
So I'm reading a crazy book. It's called The Sorrows of Young Werther, and it's by Goethe. And the reason I'm reading this is because I was reading a book a few years ago by Jung, and it's Memories, Dreams, and Reflections. It's a autobiography of his early life. And he talked about this book over and over again. So I got a copy of it off of the internet. And I just wanted to read this. I thought this was really interesting. It was written in 1750 something. So it's another one of these books that's hard to relate to, but for some reason his writing seems modern. I guess it might be the translation. Okay. All learned schoolmasters and tutors are agreed that little children do not know what they want. But no one likes to admit that grown men stumble across the earth like children, not knowing whence they came nor whither they are going, and that a grown man can be just as poor at pursuing the higher aims of life and can be ruled, just like a child, by cookies, cake, and the rod. To me, this is all quite obvious. I'm perfectly willing to admit, because I know very well that your answer will be that those people are happiest who live for the moment, like children dragging their dolls around with them, dressing and undressing them, eyeing the cupboard where Mama keeps the cookies and with the greatest respect. And then, at long last, they get what they want, stuff their cheeks full, chew, swallow, and cry more. Happy creatures. And they are lucky also who know how to give high-sounding names to their shabby professions, even to their passions, passing them off as great achievements that will benefit humanity. Any man is well off who can do that. But he who is humble knows very well where it all ends, and can see how neatly every contented citizen pursues his little garden to suit his idea of paradise. And with what perseverance even the unhappy man bears his burden, and how all of them have but one thing on their minds: to see the sunshine for one short moment more. Believe me, such a man remains silent and learns how to create his own world by himself, and is happy as they are to be alive. And however confused he may be, he always carries in his heart a sweet feeling of freedom in the knowledge that he can leave his prison whenever he likes. I'm really enjoying this book.
Deep shit.
I think. Thank you, Jill. This whole thing is about this young man who falls in love, who goes off and lives a simple life in this small village, and he falls in love with this woman. And I'm sure the whole point is he ends up getting his heart smashed to pieces. But it's interesting. It's an interesting book, and I'm enjoying it greatly. Did anyone want to comment on it? Okay, go ahead.
Do you know the significance of that book in history?
Only in what Jung said in his book when he talked about it.
It was published in a newspaper in installments.
Right.
And it became so popular in Germany with people talking about, hey, did you read what the last episode was, et cetera, and
Kind of like Wordle.
people got so involved in it that when the last installment was published, I don't want to spoil it for you.
That's okay. I don't care.
there were people who committed suicide.
Oh, you know what? He did talk about that. Young did talk about that. The people were so distraught by the ending of the book. But that doesn't shake my interest, because as I'm going along, there's all these little tidbits like that where he talks about life and people and their psyche. It's very advanced as far as the thinking of psychological damage, not damage so much, but the way people are and the psychology behind it. I think. I don't know. I haven't read that many books from the 1700s.
So how far along are you in that book?
Not very. Just maybe, I don't know, 20 pages in.
Oh, but
No,
so-
56 pages in.
So my thought is that we're going to monitor you very closely.
I don't think I'll get to the end by the 21st, so I'll be able to attend the poetry reading if that's what you're worried about.
Yeah, try not to off yourself before the 21st.
No, I will. Are you going to be in town on the 21st?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here to, I think
Well, I am formally inviting you to the poetry reading at Jamie Kubala's house.
Oh, where's Jimmy Kubala's house?
I will give you all the information
Thank you.
after the. See, I got my second person, Joe. My two. So anyway, that was my contribution, and we got a lot of people here tonight. So we're going to go around the table, and Richard, start off with one of your things from your list.
A quote from Kafka.
Okay.
I was ashamed when I realized that life was a costume party, and I had arrived with my real face.
Oh,
that.
that's great. Kafka's Kafkaesque, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a pill.
He's a pill.
I have I actually have his diaries, and they suck brutally. I don't know why. I love reading people's diaries, but for some reason, I think because he's doing rewrites in his diaries of lines. But I love his work. It's just his diaries aren't interesting.
Does
So-
anybody else agree that there was a point in your life where you thought that life was a costume party and everybody had on a different mask?
I still think that's. I think that's.
Like politics.
It's very
That's-
profound.
I think it's true. I think it's true in general of people. People want to fit in. They want to be liked. They put on. I know it's true of me. I know that in my private moments, I'm not on.
Do you know how old he was when he wrote that?
I do not.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking it's a very.
Is that a young person's?
I would think in a way that you feel.
It's a young painting.
Well, that's the Goethe, but he's talking about Kafka, like
Oh, Kafka.
the wallpaper in the Kafka wallpaper that you have in the entranceway in the hallway. But which I noticed. I was just wondering if he was. It does seem like a young person because it's about finding your identity. How's that?
Of
Yeah.
all the people who have come into this house, you are the only person to have commented that one of the images in the collage is of Kafka.
Well,
Well, I do
So-
like
Very good.
a good.
that's what happens when you bring international people on the
Yes,
scene.
we're so European.
And she used to have a pet cockroach.
named Kafka.
named
Yeah, you
Kafka
know
in
Igor.
college.
What was the cockroaches? I can't even remember. Gregor.
Yes. Oh, I took Greg to. Greg was having some. He was having some depression. This is about 20 years ago, and we went to see the Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis,
Yeah.
okay.
And I thought, it'll cheer him up.
To see the metamorphosis.
And see, and so they're saying Gregor. And here's Greg slumping down in his seat. He's like melting into his chair. He says, "You thought this was a good idea, huh?" Oh well, but so.
Yeah, what's the best thing to do if you have a friend who's going through a depression?
Interesting.
To hurt with them.
In other words, don't give them advice on how to come out of it. Just
No.
listen to them,
Right, to hurt with them.
hurt with them.
Ask questions, seek to understand.
I would think. Listen.
Listen.
I think listen.
Listen.
Yeah, because I think part of being depressed is feeling that you're not heard.
Feeling,
by-
making them feel, making somebody feel seen.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that the cure will be chemical, like their chemistry in their body will change, or will words change it?
If you are patient and you go through, I mean, I am famously on YouTube all the time listening to things about complex PTSD. It's difficult, and if you're very patient and you internalize it and you think about it and you study it, you can help yourself with words. You can get counseling. I can't afford the kind of counseling I need, but you can get counseling.
I'm cheap. What do you
Yeah.
what do you need help with?
Yeah.
Well, I need the kind of therapy where they come in and they hit you over the head with a baseball bat.
Oh, wake up. What's the matter, you?
I can
can
do
do
that.
that.
I can do that.
Oh, okay,
I can
Paul.
do
Next
that.
time you're in
There's
town.
this-
I won't even be that expensive.
Yeah. So the thing is, you can't. But there, I don't know. How do you feel about
There's-
chemical imbalance? Do you think
I
chemical?
think there's absolutely a component to that. A lot of people have. There's like dysthymia. I think I'm pronouncing. I'm not lisping, which is kind of like a low-level depression that a lot of people feel. And then, what most people experience is depressive episodes after a traumatic event or an unhappy event, and that they don't self-regulate. And whether it's a problem in their thinking, where they have to sort of change, is it that, or does the low mood and the bad thinking lead to like somatic changes in their body? And I think one of the reasons people report success with antidepressants is the idea, because there's still, from what I've read, like neurotransmitters and serotonin.
Yeah.
They say, okay, it's also, it's the lack of you're not producing serotonin because you're depressed or you had an adverse event.
But you said something initially. Wrong thinking.
Well, that's
And-
the useless. There's
Right.
a form of therapy that they're using for depression called cognitive behavioral
Oh, yeah.
therapy, or there's like dialectical behavior therapy. So
James, we
it's
can hear
called
you. We
CBT
can hear
or
you snoring.
DBT.
yeah, DBT or CBT. So a lot of that is getting stuck out of those patterns, out
Yeah.
of.
But I mean, in some cases, it's very difficult to admit that you've been living with the wrong thoughts your entire life. Like if you've been conditioned incorrectly as a child, and then to have somebody tell you 40 years later that this way you've been thinking, this distrust you have of people, is only creating more problems for you.
Right.
So it's hard. It's hard to break out of those patterns
It is
without something.
It is.
So
Being
maybe
reconditioned.
It is
the drug,
reconditioning.
maybe the drugs and the
Well, I think that's kind of like
therapy.
the gold
Yeah.
standard. But for some people, it's so different. I mean, I would think the gold standard would be having medication and a
talk therapy.
and a level of talk therapy. Because it's such an individualized thing. Whether it's and it's self-reported. You can you might look at somebody and think, oh, they're depressed, but maybe they're just like grim. Maybe that's their maybe that's their personality.
Yeah,
but
but
it's a self-reported thing. So the person who's going to report it is you feel better. So medication. And I think there's absolutely no shame in medication.
No,
because you say,
no, I don't think so either.
But there's things. I think both would be
So
my
has anybody?
overall.
I think there's
Oh, I'm
I think there's something to be said for I guess purpose would be a good word. Try to explain it. I saw a short film on YouTube not too long ago. Was a woman who was working at a crisis center as a call answerer, and it was her first day. She didn't really know what she was doing, and she got a call, and the supervisor walked away that was supposed to be training her, and she got a call from someone that was going to kill themselves. And she was
Of course.
panicking because she had like no idea what to do. And so the guy had already called before in the past, and so he knew all the stock things she was going to read out of the little manual that she
Yeah.
had sitting next to her, and he was just way ahead of her, and he was just don't bother, you know. And so what she ended up doing at the end, though, was kind of interesting. Is she said he had written a suicide note, and he read the suicide note to her online, you know, on the phone, and she the best thing she could come up with is the guy said he was a writer, and she says, I don't like your note, rewrite it, you know, because she was trying to stop him from doing it. He wanted a reason not to kill himself. And so she said, you know, she couldn't think of anything else. So she said, I don't think your note's very good. You should rewrite it. And he goes, you want me to rewrite my suicide? And she goes, yes. And the idea, I guess, behind what I'm saying is that you can fix a certain amount of depression with purpose. You know, if someone has something to do,
Yeah.
where they're not thinking about their problem, where they're doing something other than that.
Well,
They call in
That-
CBT they refer to that as rumination. So and
Right.
you get into a ruminative pattern, and that is kind of the unhealthy
Yeah.
Something to
thought
break it.
pattern.
Right. I can. Has
That's
anybody
reprogramming.
on
It went
the
away.
panel had that they don't mind talking about had a bout with severe depression? And if you did, could you tell us what helped? I don't see anybody.
I wouldn't say severe depression. My own view is that mental health is similar to physical health in some ways because there are no absolutes. There's no 100% healthy or 100% unhealthy.
Right.
Everything is just a level of management. So you have an individual will have different ways and things that they'll do to manage their mental health as well as their physical health.
Yeah. I think there's so many tools now on the internet that you can philosophy recordings.
TikTok's a distraction.
Well, and we're not trying to distract though. Like
For everybody.
there's philosophy. You can listen to Stoics. You can listen to Buddhism. You can listen to things
The
like
radio.
that are giving you any kind of positive thing to focus on. I mean, I listen to this stuff all the time when I'm doing dishes or whatever.
It seems to me that there's less stigma. I mean, there still is
Oh
a
yeah,
stigma,
definitely less stigma.
but there's less of it, and I think that's the main factor because I mean the self-help industry has been generating books, by the boatload for a
Yeah,
century.
but books, how many people don't read? I mean, there's
People
really
don't read.
people just don't read.
They buy those books in hope. They don't read them.
so
Yeah.
you have to read them and they have to practice what they say.
But I think
But I think the willpower to follow, whatever pattern
But
is going to.
if you keep repeating them, like I listen to these like ad nauseum, like Buddhism and all these things about how to deal with negative people and how to 10 practices of peaceful people and I think that eventually it just sinks in. It just repetition. It can help sink in. But we spent a lot of time on this depression part. I want to move along to
Books?
To books.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, good idea.
So now our two new people. So Joe, what are you reading? Anything in particular? Oh, you're in school.
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
No,
but
while I'm reading. I don't start school for another couple of weeks.
okay,
But meanwhile, I'm reading this book called On Poetry
okay,
by Glenn Maxwell, which is a great book.
yeah.
Great.
So are you?
So I'll I'll give you-
give us something from there.
So his first chapter is called White because he's talking about the white of the page. So he says the other half of everything for the songwriters is music. For the poets, it's silence, the space, the whiteness. Music for them and silence for us does the work of time. I think our gig is harder. Their enemy reaches out, plays chords, goes, hey, we could be friends if you play your cards right. Our enemy simply waits, like it knows the arts of war. Songs are strung upon sounds, poems upon silence.
Are you sleeping?
Songwriters,
meditating.
songwriters stir
I
up
don't
a
know, are you?
living tradition. Poets make flowers grow in air. Bob Dylan and John Keats are a different work. It would be nice never to be asked about.
I like that. As somebody who wrote, the funny songs, like the funny songs are easy, the poetry is hard, and I think that he made a good point about pulling it out of the air. I like the way he writes. It's a he or a she?
It's a he, Glenn, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it a book you bought or is it a library book?
It's a book I bought.
Aha.
I bought it twice. I bought it online as well as one copy in print.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you hear about the book? Like, what motivated you?
I saw a YouTube video. I can't remember the guy's name, but it was a classical musician who gives some instruction on songwriting as well as some theory. And this person recommended this book because I guess Glenn Maxwell is a friend of his.
I'm constantly writing things down on my phone about books that I want to read because I hear about them someplace.
I like the comparison between poetry and music.
Yeah.
Think of the bands that brought in somebody just to write the lyrics, like Procol Harum,
Yeah.
and they kept them on the payroll all those years just because he was good at words.
Yeah. Lyricists, they are poets, but the music does give you, of course, Joni Mitchell. I think Joni
Is the
Mitchell
rhythmic
goes
presentation.
goes the other way. I think she writes her words and her music comes from her words. But you can always, the people that write lyrics to music, they've got that framework to work on.
So I'm thinking about Brill building, like 1960s. Carole King, she's
Yeah.
the most obvious. Or
Yeah.
Ellie Greenwich. They just sat around and did one person like bang out something on the piano and the other person just put
Yeah,
stuff
that
together,
would have been-
which is really cool.
Don't you think that would have been fun?
That's your job.
Yeah, that would have been really fun. I would have
Bernie
loved
Taupin and
that.
Elton John.
Because
I'm thinking,
There you go, yeah,
Yeah.
Bernie Taupin and Elton John.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Bernie Taupin
We just
used to
said
write
that.
lyrics
Yep.
and
yeah,
somebody-
it would be I've asked musicians over and over if I could help. I could write lyrics if we could get together and do that. But Joni Russ said, "Oh yeah, we'll do that," and then it never happened. So I don't know. I guess I have enough to do, but it's
Yeah, well, if you're serious
uh,
about that, you can talk to me.
woohoo. Okay, you
You're-
got it.
You're a writer as well. You write poetry and things.
Me,
Yeah, I write
me or
poetry.
Joe? Yeah.
No, no, Paula. She's
Oh yeah.
'Cause
No. Yeah.
from the same, from the same vein. Because I write like I'm sitting in front of right now. I don't know. It's probably not going to come through now. But
Yeah,
I
no,
got
this
a
doesn't
piano.
work.
I got a piano in front of me right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm sitting in front of a piano. I got a guitar behind me. I write quite a bit, and
I've got
that's
a
one of the
monkey.
things I can't do is I can't write lyrics.
That's,
Right.
And
Yes,
and I'm trying to figure out if
I'm
does
here.
anyone think that's a learnable skill?
Yeah, Mike, I'm here.
and
Well, you have
in-
different standards. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're used to writing poetry,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a whole different standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is different. It's way different, and I enjoy both. I usually write poetry when I'm unhappy, and I haven't written a lot of poetry. And
Because you've been too happy.
I write essays when I'm happy. So, Virginia, what are you working on now? Are you reading still? What was the last book?
I'm reading a couple self-help books. However, I picked up Back to the Twilight Zone again
Okay.
by Alberto Capus. It's a book of his poetry,
Uh huh.
And there's one poem in here I'd like to read. It's real brief. It's only like a couple verses.
Okay,
Can I read it?
sure.
Sure. It's called Training.
It's so loud.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll try to talk softer. I don't mean to be loud.
No, I know. I think it's the our settings here.
Okay. Well, I'll try to talk softer. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Quieter, quieter.
Melt it out,
Louder.
sister.
Further away from the
You
mic.
guys are bad. You guys are bad. Okay, here we go. The name of the poem is called Training. The mouse trap in the corner terrified the cat with his bark. He understood the value of a bilingual education.
That's pretty cool.
So far, this is my favorite poem in the book.
I have a feeling that still did not end well. I mean,
For the
you can forestall the inevitable for so long, you know.
yeah. Yeah, that's
He has a lot of poetry in there, and there's one essay in the beginning of the book, but it's mostly his poetry, and most of it's political. But that poem is my favorite by far.
yeah.
Sure.
It was very evocative. You know, it's like, woo.
Yeah.
So, James, I know that you've been listening intently, but but I wanted to just cover the bases with you here. What have you been up to? What is your life like? Have you been traveling?
Always. I have a circuit that I travel. And then, of course, there's trying to plug the holes in the dike that is my situation in South Carolina. And my mother's failing health and taking care of all the financial difficulties that have to go with that.
Hey, we're still looking for somebody to date.
That-
James, he's a wonderful guy.
Yeah,
If you're interested,
James is available.
contact us.
James is available. He is.
We'll get you IMing and
I like him despite things.
Look how blue he looks.
Yeah, he's got a blue shirt on.
we
This
can
is
vouch
our-
for him. He's not insane.
Okay, so you got your hands full as usual. Did you get your equipment fixed? You said that you did.
We just tried to get him a date. Don't ask him that.
Not that equipment, Joe.
I know, but
Joe,
my God,
Joe, what
content?
What are you reading now?
The book that I bought
Da, da, da,
that
da,
I have
da.
been trying to read that I have to keep on starting over and over again is called The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager.
And why did you choose that book?
Because we were going away for the week and I wanted a nice book to read, or something light, you know, and I picked it up about a week and a half before we left. Bill read the whole thing before we got there. And I haven't been able to get past page 50.
Well, maybe it's just not for you.
No. It's timing.
Oh, okay.
Like, I couldn't read this week because
Yeah, you weren't.
I was a little under the
feeling
weather,
well,
so I
yeah.
had eye stuff.
Oh, you're on the weather. Gotcha.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I caught something at a wedding last week.
Where are you going?
she was sitting next to me, but I had already had this thing, so she didn't affect me.
I'm on a lot of medications right now, including steroids.
Yeah. So
Oh, okay.
anyway.
Just don't hit anybody.
Yeah.
So everybody,
Don't hit anybody.
don't go Barry
But
Bonds.
yeah, I
on
was like too
Paula.
sick for most
Alright,
of the week
so-
to read.
Well, I'm sorry. I know, but I'm sorry. You called me and we talked, and I feel bad that you were sick, but I know. It's you would think that when you're sick, it would give you time to sit down and read, but it's not like that. It's better to watch. Put your headset on, honey. Yeah. I prefer to watch like
She even brought a book.
TCM. Oh, let's talk about your book.
Yes,
What
I
book
mean,
did
she's
you
here
bring?
from the UK. I can come in a month.
What book did you bring, Lisa?
It is a history book
Pompeii.
by one of my favorite historians and a classicist. Whoops, am I
Is
wrong?
is it a historical fiction or is
No,
it?
no. It's
about Pompeii.
it's an academic paper about Pompeii, and the woman's name is Mary Beard, and she's a like a professor of the classics of ancient civilization. She
Wow.
specializes in Rome, and she is a boss lady. So my daughter actually, this is actually Lucy's book, but she's reading something else. So I took this from her.
Lucy is your 17-year-old?
Yeah.
What a great job you did in
I
getting her
don't-
to
yeah,
read.
well-
Yeah, gosh.
She's sixth form at Notre Dame now. She's going to
She
be
is in
graduated.
sixth form. Well, she's got
Gonna
a year to
start
go.
in Spain.
Yeah.
She is. Well, she's going to Spain next year. Oh, I'm just being a mom. Oh, I'm just talking about my
No,
kid.
because
But she-
getting kids at this time to read is really
it's
tough.
still a bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
But for some reason, she chose to. I've liked Mary Beard. She has like a lot of shows on BBC. So I don't know if you do BBC America, but her
I
shows
have-
are great.
You know what? I have
Her series are great.
I
The
have
app-
BritBox. So
She'll probably be on there.
I got. I'm going to
and
have
they're-
to. Look, you know what? I'll take a picture because I won't remember. Because
They're highly entertaining. Oh, that's why you had the other one that she likes, the Kunk on the Philomena Kunk. That's her other
Yeah.
thing. But
Oh my
it's all of us
God.
as a family. That's our thing. But
I love her.
so yeah. So this is
Give me. Oh, I'm taking a picture of myself. That's not going to help.
this is her academic study, and she does this as a academic. And I think I'm going to say, is she with Cambridge? I think she's with Cambridge, but she's pretty well known over there in the
How
UK.
is her writing though? Is it stilted and
one of her things about writing these history books is that she tries to bring the history alive through the life of the ancients alive through really strange, weird little factoids.
Yeah.
So there's stuff like, if you're looking here, I just kind of saw this to think about it, although you'd have to find it on the camera. She's got a photograph of, she likes to talk about the
I can
everyday
hold it.
life. She likes to talk about the poor people. She likes to talk about the average workers.
They're just
she
doing.
likes to
They're
talk
just
about
doing the
women.
excavations. They're just doing the excavations on that stuff. I think it's fascinating.
So she really parses all her historical work in terms. I mean, it is about making it relatable to us in the modern age, and some of it isn't, but some of it is.
Not too academia.
No, I don't
More
think
of a
so.
natural flow.
Well, that's the way she presents it, and I think the way she writes it, because she's writing it for nerds. She's not writing it for other academics.
Nerds, that's good.
So people who would seek this out would be, first of all, I was on an airplane, so people have the time to read this, though I haven't finished it. But and this is my summer reading for school before school goes back. But so it is geared to interest the sort of everyday.
Yeah, I like.
You're going to have you're going to be interested in it, or you might become interested in like Roman history or something. But you don't have to be sitting there doing your degree.
I am.
Yeah.
I have an interest in Roman history and Greek history.
It's weird.
I'm
It's
a
so
big nerd.
fascinating.
I anything ancient. I don't know why. I'm very. I'm drawn to.
I like
things about. I like when people write books about the everyday lives of the Etruscans.
This is basically it, and there might be some rest.
So get this, I just looked up Mary Beard in YouTube,
I love Mary Beard.
and she has ancient fast food restaurant.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, I love Mary Beard.
58-minute thing on Pompeii's fast food.
They do. They had.
I can't wait now. I'm going to go home and check out BritBox and see if I have anything.
And
of
on
hers.
this is the ancient gynecological instrument that they found at Pompeii.
It looks like a statue. It doesn't look
It's
like.
May I
no,
hold
look
it
at
up?
it close because it is. It's a speculum basically, and I thought that
Oh,
was
man.
fascinating.
That looks painful.
It does, but that shows something. It shows a lot of things. So
Yeah. It's a pretty clear picture with
Can
that.
you
there, yeah.
zoom in a little?
on
Okay.
the left side,
That picture?
that one.
Yeah.
What's it made of?
It,
Tell me,
It's
tell me it's made of marble.
That probably would be the best choice. I'm hoping it's not wood.
no, I don't think it would have survived. It's probably bronze.
I'm thinking it is. Let me look again. Jill can see. But
Wow.
Well, you have your.
Well, I don't have the right glasses
That
on
is-
because, of course,
Oh.
I'm a two
So what year
glasses
was
person.
this?
When 75 AD, I think, is
Yeah,
around
is
when it-
approximately.
They
Is
could have
when-
changed them since then.
Cool.
I mean,
Well,
No, I don't-
that explains a lot how old that is.
okay,
Well, we'll
there
see
is
what she has to
something
say about
uncannily
dental work.
familiar between our own gynecological speculum and this ancient version from Pompeii. Though some parts of it are missing, it is clear that the arms of the instrument were opened by turning the T-shaped handle. Oh my God!
So it's kind of like you're pressing apples. It's the
So-
same thing.
Oh my
So
God!
I think you're
Who-
opening things up for.
So
I gotta-
whoever bought the patent to that in the modern world would be subject to a lawsuit.
It's
Ooh.
well,
Well,
I find it kind of
Oh,
weird.
there'd be a remote.
Because I've got two
nowadays.
things going on in that. I'm feeling very Mary Beard now. Because you think of the word cesarean, which was named after Caesar.
Caesar. Yeah,
So,
but I don't know why though. Do you?
well, I guess the legend is that he was born,
Oh,
and so the Roman
Sur-
doctors
surgery, yeah, do
did the surgery, and they called it a cesarean because that was the way that he was birthed.
Really?
Is this true?
damn
I'm
it! I
not
learned
sure.
something new.
We're all Googling right
We're
now.
all Mary Beard. And then the second one, they had like really weird, like the Egyptians were really into birth control, but although they were also like interbred and
Well,
all,
oh yeah,
brothers and
sisters
and
yeah, but that was mostly royalty. I don't think that was the common people.
Oh,
I don't know.
But
But you know, if you think about the Bible stories, it was
I think-
Adam
I
and
think
Eve, and
There's also inbreeding to protect dynasty.
Oh my!
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, all over the place.
But they used to do, which always freaked me out, and I went to one of these in Carthage, is they used to expose like if they didn't do birth control, but if they didn't want a kid, they would just take the infant and like they called it exposure. They just sort of leave it somewhere.
Oh yeah, all the time.
So it's
They did that in China. I mean, for a long time.
But it
no
wasn't.
girls.
Yeah, it
They
was.
only had one kid each. No girls.
This was just, I guess, if you don't want a baby. So that was their really weird.
Well, that's.
thing.
I mean, that's what happened with Oedipus and the Greek myth. He was exposed, and then
Right.
because he was supposed to kill his father and marry his mother, and so
He
they
didn't
said
know, and
we're
he-
going to
oh,
throw this kid
forgot
in
about that.
out in the woods, and then somebody found him, and then he took care of him, and then he did kill his mother and kill his father and marry his mother.
that line's
as,
interesting.
As you do.
Chinese. Okay. So yeah, apparently Jill is doing some research here as we speak. She's our research assistant.
I love to
Oh.
learn.
And she is saying that there were pictures of cesarean sections in Egypt,
No, in China.
in China,
China. What about
Prior to Roman.
prior to Roman.
Oh.
So
They beat us
Big-
again.
So maybe he was delivered by cesarean.
Cesarean section.
But maybe they changed the name when he was born like that.
But that's why it's called the myth being.
Well,
that
this starts
that's how
off
Caesar
saying
was born.
that that's
I don't know if it's
not
true.
what it's named after.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Are we on Wikipedia?
we're
We're
all
on the
doing, We're
history.
all doing research here. So, all right, now.
I'm a Caesarean section history.
Okay. So there is such a. See, that's the thing, Richard. Information. It's like at your fingertips. Do you remember, Joe, how hard it was to research something in the old days? Do you remember Encyclopedia Britannicas?
Oh my God.
Do you remember?
World book.
My mother, I think, bought a set of these from a traveling salesman.
One letter a month.
It did show up in
It's
the
one book
door.
a month.
No,
Really?
no, I
was,
think
wasn't
it may have been from Acme. I think she may have gotten them from Acme.
Acme.
And it's a super duper like a store.
Oh
Acme,
gosh.
yeah.
Okay, I don't remember those. but-
So anyway, no,
Super duper.
it's older than you. But the thing is, she bought them because she thought, we used to research at home, and I used to love going to the library and looking up stuff like that. But now, I mean, you got to be careful where you're getting your information from, but it's automatic. We're watching TV, and I'm looking on my phone to see what else I can find out about something. It's amazing. It is amazing. It's just I guess it's too much information.
Oh, I
So
saw.
craniotomy. Have you ever heard of craniotomy? Is that pronounced right?
Craniotomy?
It says before anesthesia, when a baby was hopelessly stuck, doctors would perform an unpleasant procedure called craniotomy. This literally involved crushing the baby's skull to get them out of the mother.
That's what forceps are for. That's why some babies have pointed heads when they're born. They used to do it. The forceps, they would clamp the head and pull it out.
They still do it.
Do they? Ooh. I don't want to think
So
about that.
apparently C-sections were done before Julius Caesar himself was
Yes.
born.
Yeah, they were done in China. They said on
And
there.
also even in Rome.
Before
even in
Roman times.
Yeah.
Rome.
Yeah.
And apparently,
would it have been-
Oh, you've done some research on your own, Joe? Is that what
I'm
you're
looking
saying?
at Wikipedia right now.
Oh, okay.
So there's a Latin word, sedare, which has the same root.
Uh-huh.
That it just means to cut. It's to cut. in
Ah.
Latin.
So that's probably the root of the word as
Ah.
opposed to Caesar, actually.
And I wonder if Caesar was something
Maybe
about
Caesar
his
was the
name
lunch.
to be cut.
It might have been like a
would've made
stage name, like his real name could have been, Williams.
Well, I maybe. So Paul, what are you working on right now, Paul?
Let's see. Just more nature stuff. My son's flying up here. Well, he was supposed to be here already, and
Yeah.
Who's delayed?
yeah,
Is it
it's
weather?
still delayed. Yeah, they haven't even left yet. So I'm like, hey. So
Still
yeah, so
snowing.
the plan is the snowing. No, it's like 80 degrees here.
It's not snowing in Newfoundland.
No,
Are you expecting any hurricane excitement
no.
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 from Ernesto?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we had our share of that a few years ago. So
Did you?
yeah,
Did you
it
get
destroyed a lot of stuff.
Did you get pictures?
I did,
Cool.
but that was a couple years ago. I
Yeah.
don't even know where they are. Somewhere.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the-
I wouldn't
on the-
expect. I wouldn't expect you to produce them instantly. Instant gratification.
So you see the dark cloud behind me, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So remember, probably I'm going to say maybe 8 years ago or so, or maybe a little more, in Lockport, the police they recycled tires, they ground them up, and remember that started on fire.
I don't remember that, but
Yeah, I know somebody that owned a house across the street.
Yeah, I
Oh.
thought wasn't that okay? I might be remembering something else then, because I'm remembering a factory that went up.
Right. It was, but they ground tires
'Cause
and
they were
to
making-
recycle.
recycle. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Right. So what it is 3 little boys
Right.
were in there playing with fireworks, and one couldn't get out because the smoke was so black. So
Right.
Oh
So-
no.
so here's the start of it, and then here's what it looks like 10 minutes later. This
Oh.
is from my backyard in Gasport, and then from this point it went to this,
Oh.
and then this, and then this.
You know.
And that's the
Nothing
sun.
Wow.
Nothing like the smell of burning rubber.
Oh God,
engulfing
it's
your whole
toxic,
city.
isn't it? Isn't it
Oh yeah,
toxic?
that's all you smelled. Yeah, that's all you smelled was rubber.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that's.
And
what-
I'm probably 6-7 miles away from where this started.
Oh man, yeah, that's. I mean, anytime fire is yellow, something is terribly wrong. That yellow, smoky stuff that looked really toxic. Ugh.
Right.
I forgot how big of a deal
It
that
was
was.
it was bad. So yeah, so I'm just out taking some wildlife pictures. We were gone for the last 3 weeks. We drove across the island. Took us 12 hours to get from St. John's to St. Anthony's, and then stopped at Gross Morn. Beautiful. You couldn't see anything more beautiful than that. And then there was some Viking village we went to see.
Oh yeah, you were
Uh,
telling me about that. That Viking village interests me.
Where is that? 'Cause
It's
I got
in
a story about Vikings.
in New. Oh, I love Vikings.
My daughter
and-
loves Vikings. Wait till you hang out. She was a Viking for a week.
So in it's on Newfoundland, but on the other side of where you are, right?
It's about halfway between St. John's and St. Anthony's. Yeah, it's beautiful. They do a reenactment. I got pictures, but I don't have them to put up here right now. But
Yeah,
So Lisa, what are those tea
the
biscuits
landing?
for?
For tea, if anybody would like one with their tea. I do have tea.
no, thank you.
They're snacks.
I know.
If anybody wants one,
Oh.
They're
Cool.
British
So
snack.
these
Thank
tea
you, that's
cakes
very nice
are,
of you,
is
but
this something you always do when you read?
I'll be there next week and we'll order pizza.
I prefer pizza. Let me tell you.
Next week is Greg's relationship show. You should.
Oh, should I just bring these next week for Greg?
He might eat
We'll
them.
do horror.
They're
night.
marshmallows and like
Raspberry.
biscuits. No, there's no raspberry. I think it's just like marshmallows, chocolate, and a cookie. So it's kind of
it's
like
kinda
a
like-
brisk s'more or something.
What are those things? The round chocolate that they're covered in chocolate.
Shmo-
It's
Yeah,
exactly
like
what
a moon pie. I don't know.
Yeah, moon pie.
I have no
No.
idea, but they're a British thing.
Why don't
They were
you
easy to carry.
Break one apart. Let's
Okay,
explore.
is anybody okay? But this is
I got those here.
James is a trooper.
Okay,
He'll,
yeah.
he'll
You
review
can
it.
bring my book next week could be recipes.
Recipes.
apparently some
have-
people like to.
Joe, do you know I have like vegetarian recipes on Facebook? I have a thing called
This is okay for vegetarians.
so you
Sorry.
think you want to be a vegetarian or something like that.
These are
Nope.
So you want to
Definitely
be a
don't.
vegetarian. Well,
You want to be a vegetarian?
we eat a lot of meatless stuff, but we still eat meat.
Yeah, of course.
I eat a lot of seafood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
I see a lot of food.
It's you're right in the middle of
Richard, Tunnock's tea cake? No. Tunnock's tea cake?
I'll have one.
Anybody? I'm not doing a Tunnock's cake.
Deliver it.
There's Tom.
Tom. Would you
Tom,
like
Tunnock's
would you
tea
like a
cake?
tea cake?
A Tunnock's tea cake.
A Tunnock.
James, we definitely need to
It's a
review that.
marshmallow cookie. I need somebody.
It's like here. I think you should have one. Should I throw it? Can I throw
You can
it?
throw it. I'm sure they're fresh, but and then people like to make interesting things out of the iconic
Wrapper,
Tinfoil?
wrapper. Yeah.
Oh, like, what is it?
like with the gum wrappers. What are
Yeah.
Origami.
Yeah.
I just remembered I went to Dash today.
You went to
And-
Dashes and you got the same tea cakes, didn't you? Oh no.
Shut up. These were.
Buy those in Buffalo?
You
Yeah.
can buy some British stuff at, not that I want it, but at Wegmans, and it's very expensive.
So
and
sh-
it's not crap you would want anyway.
She likes to
Nor do I like
bring-
British food.
She likes to bring us British trinkets.
I will tell
Last
you.
year
I
we
will
got
tell
toilet
you.
paper,
Oh,
Oh,
my
yeah,
God.
that's
with
right. I
little
did give you
crowns on
toilet
it,
paper. I got
which
the-
is so thick you could write a book on it.
I will tell you that
that was when King Charles. That was like not inauguration, whatever.
inauguration toilet paper.
Yeah, but it's not inauguration. You don't inaugurate a king. You like God appoints a king, whatever.
Yeah.
The crowning of installment, of
Yeah.
King Charles, and that was we all had the day off from work, and he was supposed to get like
Gold leaf crowns on this tissue
on the toilet
paper.
paper. So you had special tissue toilet paper and special like tissue nose tissues, and you're supposed to buy like Tunnock's tea cakes, and you have a little
Right.
street party with your friends on the day off because
He had all them
As you're
M&Ms.
sitting on the throne.
yeah. and sit around because King.
Come on, he earned it. He
Investiture,
birthed.
yeah, he was.
He
He
birthed.
got the right. He got.
So, Tom, since you're the only one that ate it, how does it taste?
It was all right.
It was all right.
and
That
and
was
that
our
in
review.
in
That's our
Britain
food
in
review
that in
section.
England is a very high review. So basically, you have given
it.
it.
Was all right.
It was all right. That is about as good as you can get with British
was
food.
all right.
It was so.
Yeah.
I'll
Have
take
you
it
ever
as-
seen British food? So, you know.
I have.
Oh.
What
I
they
have,
say about it, it's true.
I had a cold meat pie at a tavern, and it was kind of gross. But we went for other
Sounds like a
like
bad date.
exotic
Like
food.
Indian food.
It wasn't Indian. We
Korean.
went. Where did we go? It was like kebab or something. We
Okay, come
Yeah.
on. It's like, just like a gyros or
yeah
something. 'cause
yeah.
let's see.
So we had that was better.
kebab. Yeah, it was better. But
There's
that's-
there's like one, when I was there, this was a long time ago, there was the salt shaker had one big hole in the top that you pour on the food, and I thought that was rather odd. That
No,
was in the tavern.
They had the wrong one. That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, that sounded, right.
Sounds
it
like a
didn't-
sugar shaker.
Yeah, it didn't sound right.
No, they made a mistake.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So anyway, Richard, I know you have a ton of stuff on your list because we haven't done the show in a couple weeks at least.
And you down there your last 11 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Well,
Tell us about the wedding.
what do you want to know about
Mary,
it?
congrats.
How did the pictures come out?
Oh, if you like, I'll send them to you once they're signed off on by the bride and the groom.
The picture he took
Okay.
of the bride and groom, it showed their faces were so expressive. It was just a beautiful picture.
They were happy. They were a good couple.
They both looked smug, like, I got what I wanted. You know, it was just beautiful.
cool.
It was such a cool picture. That was a beautiful picture. You caught
Captured the moment.
you caught them at a really cool moment. That's the whole.
They revealed
Yeah.
themselves.
They did.
Now, Paul, you may recall that I redesigned my camera by putting it inside of a box, and on the box I have a
Yes.
sign that says, "Try to reveal your true self."
Right.
Oh yeah.
There was 4 different ways that people reacted to that sign. It took me by surprise.
Right.
One way is they read the sign, and they got goofy.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, you know, they made faces, they crossed their eyes, they stuck their tongues out. Another way is they got romantic. They started kissing one another and stuff like that. And third way is they withdrew, like it was threatening.
Oh.
Yeah, like this one woman, I pointed to the sign. I said, now for this one, try to show your true self. She got more withdrawn.
Wow.
It was that real tall, thin woman.
Oh, the one that kind of looked like a 1950s movie star. Yes.
Oh, with the poof?
No,
ponytail?
not that one. Not that one. This was a blonde. She kind of looked like one of the big blondes from the movies with Bob Hope.
Yes.
You know, those kind
Betty
of.
Grable? Wait,
Oh,
Lisa, you should have came.
the husband mentioned who.
Lana Turner or somebody.
No, it wasn't Lana Turner. It was Alki Summer.
Okay, Summer.
Okay, Summer.
Alki Summer.
Well, people.
Yeah. So she did. She
She withdrew.
Yeah.
You could see it. And then the fourth way, which was my favorite way, is the people who they said, all right, they didn't say this, but you could sense it, like, I'm going to try, but I've never done anything like this before. Let me see what I can do. Those were the most interesting.
Inquisitive.
Yeah, they're probably open to
I'm looking forward
the
to seeing
experiment. You know,
Hey, the next name is you should have the mobile photo booth.
They had a mobile photo booth there.
Did they?
Yes, it was on the other side, and there were no instructions. And you were supposed to, like, push a button.
Oh.
And there's nothing like just... And then it started taking your pictures. And we didn't know when it was done. And then it printed out 2, and you were supposed to keep one set for them and one set for yourself.
I didn't even know that was there.
Oh, ours sucks so badly because we're like...
Seen
Oh, there's one picture we're not even in it.
this
Like,
kiosk.
oh, it's really working.
Yeah. But you're not.
You'd appreciate it. Maybe I should give you this trip.
Yeah. So this is an example of like a driverless car.
It was, and it
this
was
is
like
a
in
photography without
It was like in
without
photo-
an
Without the
eye.
photographer.
Yeah.
you know the photo boxes for 8x10s and 4x5s.
Oh.
It was
Yeah.
like in 2 boxes like that, standing on top of each other. You know where Richard was in the wedding?
Yeah.
It was all the way on the other side.
Well, that's good.
The same,
it wasn't
like-
distracting.
They were both south, but Richard
Yeah,
would have been
it's
west
weird.
and he was east.
Well, that's your new title, Richard, the human mobile photo booth.
It's not that was fun.
Richard would have had more.
I had
That's
fun
what it was.
talking to strangers and trying to get them to come and get their picture taken. But when I got home, my ankle was the size of a baseball because of all the
right. Yeah,
walking back and forth. I was like, but it kept me focused and away from the din of the crowd. That din was starting to get to me. I'm not a big din person.
Right.
I'm more of a Pompeii person.
Yeah.
Clearly, am I?
I'd rather have hot lava falling on top of me than deal with din.
Yeah, and
Din's better than COVID.
so yeah, that's true. So I feel like I feel like I love one-on-one conversations, or like this is good. We're all talking, but not at the same time, and that's nice. Are we going to have some karaoke from you, James?
Well, there's a song called Pompeii. So.
Oh,
There's a song called
I
Pompeii.
did not know that.
Yes.
Who does it? What kind of?
there's
The
a
band
song
is
for
called
everything.
Bastille.
Oh, okay. And they're French? No.
Actually, I'm not sure.
Well, the name certainly implies that.
Yeah, that doesn't mean
Well, kind of like Florent Rouge.
Doesn't mean Florent Rouge
Is
was
it
from
a
Buffalo,
song
not
that you,
France.
is it a song that you sing when you go out?
It is actually.
Okay, so let's hear it.
Sing us a little bit of the song then.
Well, let's see.
I don't think I have mine.
Probably the chorus is probably best. And the walls kept tumbling down in the city that we love. I'm not standing, so I can't do that part. Great
Right.
clouds roll over the hills, bringing darkness from above. But if you close your eyes, is it almost like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, can you almost feel like you've been here before? Oh, am I going to be an optimist about this? How am I going to be an optimist about this?
That's actually
Sign them up. Sign them.
it's kind of clever to try to be an optimist while Pompeii is being covered by ash from a volcano. That's a interesting.
Yep.
That's a thought. That's a thoughtful song. Somebody had to think about that and to write those lyrics. It's not like, "Hey, baby, bop."
Oh, no. The song
No,
is
that's
about
okay.
two people having a conversation as the city is being destroyed.
Wow, I'm going to have to look for that song when I get home. Oh, you already did.
My connection is a little bad, but
So we got sidetracked when we went to your list, and we've
Okay.
only got 3 minutes and 51 seconds left.
So I correspond with a lot of people. One of the person I correspond with likes to tell me about how deficient most people are. You know, most people never do this. Most people are like this, and you hear that phrase. And I asked this person. I said, you know, that if you look at it from in terms of philosophy, the school that Plato founded, people were disgusted by all the imperfect people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the Stoic school that you mentioned,
Uh-huh.
which stressed that, yeah, there are imperfect people in the world, you just accept them.
Yes.
And I said, it's interesting when you meet people, you'll find that they go in one of those two streams.
Yeah.
The people who are like irritated by all the imperfect people in the
Yeah.
world, and the other people who just accept them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And obviously this friend of yours is irritated by them. Now, is he comparing his own experience, and is he feeling like, is it making him feel better about himself to put these other people into a different box?
That's a very good way of analyzing it. I think when this person I'm referring to says those imperfect people, he is not one of them.
Right.
He's
That's-
separating himself from the imperfect
Right.
people.
I have done this. I have traveled to Timbuktu, but most people haven't. But I did, because I knew the importance of being in Timbuktu. You know, yeah. That's
And did you also intern at the White House?
I did. No, the thing is,
But she blew Clinton,
It's
so.
it's an insecurity. It's a way to mask insecurity. At least that's what I think.
I think that it's important for people to accept the perfection and ignore everybody else's imperfection, or it's going to drive you mad.
Yeah, there's no such. First of all, if there was such a thing as perfection, it would be boring. You know, I mean, there'd be no challenges. There'd be nothing to get over, nothing to figure out.
It would be mad.
You know,
Well, we all have rooms to grow.
yeah.
We're all imperfect. We all have
No,
rooms to grow.
right.
No matter who we are.
But there is no. But you shouldn't strive for perfection, because it's really not a thing.
You'd like one of the lines from the song
Because
Pompeii.
it doesn't
says,
exist.
Where
Paula,
do
you're
we
right,
begin?
because
The
Yeah.
double
perfection
our
doesn't
sins.
exist.
Yeah, it
perfect
doesn't
doesn't.
exist. In fact, that's one of the arguments that some philosophers use for the existence of God, that because we understand an idea of perfection and it doesn't exist in the world, that means that there must be a God, because that would be perfection. But I've read the Bible. He wasn't perfect.
Well, yeah, that's interesting that you brought that up, because there was a counter argument to that, which somebody said, I have an idea of the perfect island, Does that mean the perfect island exists?
I like that. We're almost out of time. Thank you everybody for coming. This was great. What a international group I've had today. This
Yeah.
is
A
like
Canadian
Different
and,
time zones and
so
everything.
and a person from
incredible.
Buffalo.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you've traveled a long way to
The
be on
east
the show.
side of Buffalo.
The east side. Where on the east side?
I'll tell you later.
She embraces her Rick James in the UK.
I do impress my Rick James in the.
Yeah, I am
uh,
also from the east side, but from the weird part.
Below
But
the
anyway,
funk was her
all right,
wedding song.
so thank you, and I
It was.
appreciate it, and it was so much fun, and we're off the air. Thank you, Tom.